Hey guys, what's up? It's Kay, and today we'll be looking at the robot Damashii Gundam Mark V. This guy is a web exclusive. It's included in the Ka signature line, or as the Japanese call it, KA signature. Well, some call them Ka signature. Most of them say KA signature. I'm not really sure, whichever you like. Whatever you want to call them. But yeah, so this is one of the few figures that I have that I actually have the box. So I wanted to keep the box because the web exclusives from the Ka signature line, it looks better than the regular robot Damashii figures. So this is the box. So it's a little since it's a big figure, it's a little bit bigger than your regular robot Damashii figures. So this is the front of the box, and that's the side. And as you can see, that's the back of the box. It's gonna show you the official pictures, the line art, some detail on the unit, and that's pretty much it. So let's take a look at the figure. So let's start with the boring ones first. We're gonna start on the hands. So you get one pair of each. So you'll get one pair of the open palm hands for action poses, one pair of the beam saber holding hands. There's a, if you can see, there's a peg there, or it's not really, I'm not really sure if it's a peg, but yeah, there's a little peg there where, because the beam saber is a little bit big, so he actually has to lock it in place. So there's a peg there that's gonna lock the beam saber hilts onto his hands. Just explaining why there's one there, just like the HGUC kits. You get one pair of the closed fist. The right one is actually, or sorry, the left one is actually connected to the figure right now, and you also get one pair of the trigger finger hands. Okay, so next we're gonna continue with the accessories. So as you can see, oh, thank you, sunlight. All right, so you get the beam rifle. He also comes with the missile launchers. So I'll just remove this for you guys. So the missile launchers, I'll just get one and show you how these things work. It's on a hinge, so it can move like this, and this one also is on a hinge. So as you can see, this thing moves, and then it's gonna be a peg connection, so it's gonna rotate over the shoulder. All right, and then you get the shield. I'm gonna explain to you how this thing works. So this shield is on a peg connection as well, or on a double ball hinge. Well, not really, double hinge, or something like that. Double, yeah. So it's on a hinge also, on a peg connection, but as you can see, there's a clip. Okay, it's gonna be on a clip connection, so you get one here and one there. Alright, so that's gonna depend on how you want it displayed, because right now it's like this because it's mounted on the arm. But if you wanted to mount this on its back, all you have to do is just switch this up, and let's see here, let me just connect it to one of these things. So you see how it's, oh, sorry about that, just connect this here. Alright, so you see how the connection actually changed, and all you have to do is just lift the peg here like so, and mount it on its back. So you have, like, you know how the Banshee Norn has its huge shield mounted on its back, so the idea is kind of like that as well. So anyway, so you get the beam rifle, you get the missile launchers, you get two of these, you also got the shield, and I'm not really sure if you can consider this as an accessory, but let me just remove this as well. Alright, so you have the beam saber hilts, which in the manga or in the novel, this also works as a beam launcher. Pew pew! And so this thing moves. Let me just remove the shield. So this thing can rotate. Oops, it's a little bit wet. I gave him a warm bath before doing the review. And this thing will move up and down. And the thrusters is on a ball joint as far as I know, and it can rotate a little bit, but it's pretty much useless. And you can remove this, so you can see it's kind of like on a ball hinge. Yeah, it's on a ball hinge, so it will wiggle around and rotate, and it's just on a peg connection. And then since I already took this out, and remember how I told you the hands have those pegs on there, so all you have to do is just lock this in place, and there you go. So it's, as you can see, it reminds me of the Double Zeta Gundam's beam saber. So I guess I think this is also a hyper beam saber or something. So next, since I already showed this to you guys, it comes with two huge beam sabers. So you can also use this as a chopstick. But if you have the robot Damashii full armor Zeta Gundam, or just the regular Zeta or enhanced Zeta Gundam, I think the beam sabers of that thing is bigger than the Mark V. So yeah, so it's on a peg, and all you have to do is just peg that in, and you have that huge beam saber. But I'm not really a beam saber guy, so I never really actually use it, and I just Photoshop my beam sabers to make it look more realistic. And one last thing. Alright, so I forgot to mention this. So he has the ICOMs, which is mounted on its back, but he has these things. So this is an activated ICOM. I never messed with it, but basically it's the ICOM, and you have this wire, and you also have this peg connections, or I'm not really sure what this thing is called, but it's gonna be mounted on the wire, and this is for you to be able to move around the wire. So I'm gonna show you a picture on how it works. And sorry I didn't mess with this. I just think this one's pretty useless, so I don't mess with it. But I'll show you a pic here on how it works. So yeah. So let's move on to the figure, guys. Okay, so let's start with the articulation now, since we're done with the accessories and whatnot. So let's start with the head. The head has a double connection here, so it can move up that far, and you can also do the chicken. It will look left and right. And for the arms, it's on a double ball joint, so it has a ball joint here and a ball joint there, so it's gonna rotate. He has the butterfly action going on as well. So it's gonna rotate, and the arm, this can go up and down as well, and the arm can move, or can move up that far. Okay, and it will bend. Well, that's on a double bulge. It's gonna have a 180 bend there. The arm will also rotate. It's on I think it's in a ball joint, double ball joint. Let's double check. Nope, just a single ball joint. So it's gonna wiggle around and rotate. Let's just focus on here. And for the waist, let's see, it will go left and right. Well, it will actually go 360, but why would you do that, right? But you know, just for amusement, just for your amusement, I will do that 360 action for you. And unfortunately, it has a, I guess, yeah, he has a little ab crunch action too, but I wish it was farther, or I wish it can go farther. But yeah, at least they added that on there. And what else? This thing, the front skirt is on a ball joint, so it's gonna rotate. Oop, it's stuck. Okay, so it's gonna rotate and wiggle around. This piece is also on a ball joint, but that's as far as it can go. As for the legs, it's also on a ball joint, just a single ball joint, as far as I know. Well, double ball joint. Okay, and it's gonna move that far up. That's pretty impressive. It's my first time doing that. And that far down, but if you have the backpack, that's not gonna happen. It's gonna hinder things. And it has a hinge here, or a thigh swivel. Let's see. Okay. Oh, it's hindering things. Okay. So it has that bend. It will bend that far, and this thing will move as well, side to side, or up and down. And for the ankle, it has the ankle rocker. It will move that far up, that far down, and it also has a toe articulation. See how this one has different articulation, or it has a separate articulation, and this one is also on a separate connection, or it has a joint of its own, so it's gonna rotate, but it's not gonna wiggle around. And I think that's pretty much it. This thing doesn't move, so that's pretty much what you're gonna get. So let's go ahead and connect all of its accessories. So we're good. Like I told you guys, the missile launcher is on a peg connection, so we just peg that in. Peg the second one, and let's see. We remove the beam sabers. Get this. So I have the beam saber hilts here. Oop. Let's see. Oh, this one. I never messed with it like this, because once I have all the accessories connected, I just display it on my shelf. So one thing I like about this is that, just like what I mentioned on my Zeta review, you will be able to display this without having to do the gorilla pose. So yeah, it's on a peg connection. Just peg that in and put this on the side, and there we go. So it's just a very simple figure actually. So let's see. Alright, so we'll do size comparison next. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're gonna do size comparison next. So I actually need to move my camera back, because I'm gonna put some figures next to it. So let's start with how big this thing is. 1 second, I'm just holding two figures right now, because I'm gonna do some comparison with other figures. Let me just put that here. I have my meter thingy. Okay. Alright, so he stands about, at the top of its missile launchers, about 7 inches tall. So that's a pretty big figure if you collect robot Damashii figures. And so 7 inches tall, at the bottom of its feet up until the top of its missile launchers, almost 7 inches tall. So so we're gonna compare him with the previous figure that I reviewed. So if you haven't seen it, I suggest you watch it. So here it is with the Kshatriya. Wow, okay, that's pretty nice. Okay, all right, so they're almost the same height, but then we're gonna add this big guy, which is my biggest figure in my collection. That I might also do a review in the future or in a few weeks. The robot spirits or robot Damashii Gaymalk. So if I put them like this or display them like this, okay, so pretty much the Gaymalk will be the biggest, and then next would be, I guess, the Kshatriya. I'm not really sure who's bigger. I guess it's bulkier in a way. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I actually had to move to a different location. But yeah, so going back, I'm not really sure who's bigger because this one's bulkier and he has this horn, but technically I think this one's taller. I'm not really sure, but either way though, all three of them are really big figures for something in 1 to 144 scale. And how does it compare to a regular 5 or 6 inch figure? So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take these out. Alright, place it here, move this, okay, move this forward just to make sure it's presentable. Okay, so I have the Mark V right in front of us, and making its debut, I guess, for the very first time, I present to you guys the only model kit that I have in my collection, my custom built RX-78 or HGUC RX-787. This is from the Battlefield record game in the PS3 platform. It appeared in 0081 in the UC timeline. But yeah, this guy is in 1 to 144th scale. So yeah, this one's pretty big. Okay. Oop, 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 oop. Alright. So yeah, so that's how it compares to a regular 1/144 kit. So I'll just take this out. Okay, so would I recommend this to any of you guys? Yeah, I guess if you're a fan of Universal Century and you know maybe you like the color blue or something, it's a good looking figure. And I think the only gripe I have about this figure is maybe I kind of wish it's not on a ball joint because it can only go as far as that. So but yeah, I think that's a good leg articulation, but I'm not sure. It's just me. I wish it was a little bit wider, or it can do wider leg poses. And also you can't really see its eye. It's very small. It's right there. I wish they made it more visible. So it's really small. So, but everything else though, this thing looks great. And also I forgot to mention, this thing doesn't look like this out of the box. So if you noticed, I'll just zoom in on this. Come on, zoom in. Okay. Okay, if you noticed, I added brown lining to give it a more weathered effect on some of the gray parts. I also add brown lining on the feet, brown lining on the rifle, and then I also added purple on the vents here, and put decals. And as for the blue parts, as you can see, I added dark blue panel lining color there to give it more detail, because it really looks really plain out of the box. But if you like it like that, that's fine. But since this is a cost signature figure, I wanted my figure to look like, you know, how it was before. Well, I like it I like it when I give it the GFF finish. So I'm pretty sure you've noticed that in all of my figures. I really wanted to add detail on every figure that I have. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This guy's a web exclusive. It retails in the market right now around, sometimes it can go as low as 6,000 yen and might go up as high as 9,000 yen. So I got mine in between. I got mine for 7,000 yen. So yeah, it's a nice figure. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next review.